You being from the southern part of India and now like practicing in the northern part of India, how do you see that section or the majority of the people see current growth towards development, technology, and current government's efforts versus people from the northern part of India? And where all there is an opportunity that people should come align and achieve the common cause of developed nation.
So I think the good part is, thanks to the explosion of information on social media, there is a comparative competition here. So people get to see infrastructure and the availability of opportunities in certain states, and therefore, notwithstanding certain political fissures which are language based between the north and the south, I know for a fact that there's been a greater movement in terms of learning languages of the north, simply because that is the economic requirement. So political भाषणबाजी के लिए आप कुछ भी कर लें, but economic realities are economic realities. And so if somebody is forced to learn Marathi because he has to work in Mahindra and Nagpur, or if he's forced to learn Hindi for whatever reason to work in other parts of the country, then they will learn. And similarly, as much as I would want this movement to happen, there is also a greater realization in a significant cross section of the northern part of the country that Hindi need not be spoken by everyone. I am not someone who's a Hindi dveshi, and please take this position on face value. I've spoken in Hindi as often as possible. I have a very dear love for the language. Even in school, I've done well in the subject. As a language which is fairly close to Sanskrit, I have more than one reason to be fond of the language, thanks to the script and whatnot. Okay. However, I am equally conscious of the reality that Bharat is like a thali with multiple options, and every dish in this thali has its own value. And fortunately, I think bridges are being built thanks to mutual efforts from both sides. So, on the economic front, I think everybody is competing to uh, make sure that their state is perhaps the lead destination for investment. Regardless of who's in power, I see the discussion happening. So, day before yesterday, I was at this Think Edu conclave of the New Indian Express in Chennai. And I happened to watch the session of the finance minister of Tamil Nadu, PTR Tyagarajan, who, who sees me as an evil force. He has said this as much, thanks to my ideological positions. But nevertheless, I respect him for his knowledge of finance and the manner in which he conducts the state. Okay, I may have my serious disagreements with his political lineage. I may also see him as an evil force when it comes to ideological issues. But there are very clear, let's say, common grounds to be met. And I'm seeing that Uttar Pradesh has woken up. That sleeping giant of a state has woken up. A state which has been constantly been rubbished as a Bimaru state and as the cow belt, the Hindi heartland, and all that. All these states have made rapid strides. For the last 10 years, I've been the special counsel for the state government of Madhya Pradesh, representing it in the Basmati litigation. And I know for a fact that on the agriculture front, Madhya Pradesh has done a fabulous job. And having delivered the goods on agriculture, it has now shifted its sights, or rather, it's now set its sights on improving its industrial policy. So I would say that thanks to international pressure, opportunities that are showing up, and greater awakening, regardless of who is in power, there are serious causes for hope. But the one thing that there is, I would say, a cause for concern is the freebie culture, which unfortunately the Delhi government seems to be pushing hard. And in the process, I think um, it cultivates a false sense of entitlement in the public, that we are entitled to free bijli, we are entitled to free this and free that. A country which aspires to be a global power, at the very least a regional power, must have a public which has a sense of responsibility. And the state has a serious role to play in shaping public discourse. But when the state encourages this kind of freebie mentality, I think it's a very serious problem. So as long as we are fighting on economics, and with a certain degree of necessary welfare component, I don't have a problem with it. But if you wish to follow a Venezuelan model of economics, I think it's extremely irresponsible, especially for a country which is still seen as a lower middle income group country. We are not even in the middle income group country, by the way. So there are, I think, very positive signs from the societal end, but state dispensations will also need to change their attitudes. Unfortunately, voting considerations, electoral considerations undermine our economic objectives. I hope that the public is able to reject such political options in the interest of better options.